All right, call the meeting to order at, I got 6:37. Welcome, everybody. Summer is almost over. Fall is gonna start.
Boy, is it.
And we're getting ready for our hard work here. Dan, welcome. Nice to see you here. Mike, you're looking good?
You too, Ed.
You look relaxed and everything?
Oh,
Good? Joe, you don't look like you're busy at all. And of course, we're ready to do battle here with
With Gary.
Gary.
I've been waiting for this for like 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. How'd you make out with Beth, by the way? Not Beth, but
Oh, Becca.
Becky, yeah.
She sent the debt. She was gonna come, but something came up, so she won't be here tonight.
Okay,
But she did send an updated debt schedule.
okay.
You all have that, or just you, Joe?
She sent it to me and Harry.
I haven't seen it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not something we can talk about tonight anyways.
Right,
really.
without it here, right,
Right.
yes.
I mean, Joe, you have it, we can go
Yeah,
over
we
some
can go
basic
over it.
preliminary stuff.
We got it to reference.
Yeah, I've been out of town all day, so I just got in and had a quick fight and showed up, so.
Glad you could make it, sir.
Same here. Glad to have you on the team. Okay.
Speak for yourself.
That's not-
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's not what
That
Joe
was
said.
not recorded. Gary, welcome. Thank you for
Thank you,
being
sir.
here tonight. My request, appreciate it. Mike, you sent the minutes out?
Yep, 2 sets. One from our last meeting, July, April. We went from April to August for our meeting,
Okay.
and then we had one on August 4th.
Right.
So I have the minutes from April 27th and August 4th.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from April 27th,
Okay.
2022.
That was mostly just a review of Joe's letter
Right.
that we sent through.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Any discussion on it? No? Hearing none? Any, nothing on it?
Just
Okay.
need a second.
Huh?
Just need a second.
Oh, okay.
Anyone want a second?
I can't.
I know you can't.
I'll second.
Okay.
Discussion? Okay. You still reading, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good.
You good? Okay. All in favor, approving the minutes?
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
You abstain? Okay. All right, minutes so approved.
And I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from August 4th as presented.
Okay, that was a pretty quick meeting, so
Yeah.
that was a lot. Okay, do I hear a second on those?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, we have approval of the minutes, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain.
You're abstaining. Okay, very good, thank you, Mike. Getting that done.
All
Okay.
right, I'll send them up to town hall.
As I mentioned to you, Gary, we have a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight.
No, you didn't quite say that. You said you had a couple of questions, and that was it.
No, I said we had a lot of things, but we'll try to keep it to a couple of questions.
Huh?
Okay, anybody want to start asking a question to Gary first? Or Gary, would you like to say some words about where we are or what we've done so far?
Your
Pertaining to
questions,
the
your
committee.
concerns, I guess, your questions you written was ARPA, especially.
Yes.
I do have a spreadsheet here. I don't know if you guys, if you sent this.
No, we've never seen this.
You shouldn't have to, but.
Okay.
I guess I can, without going through this list, the only thing that, and obviously when Mr. Becker tried to put me on the spot at town meeting regarding the SCBA, so that was recently ordered. The biggest problem was that when Chief Knight first put in for it was $65,000. It rapidly went up to 95. So the ARPA committee did approve that for $95,000, brought to the Board of Selectmen, and they unanimously approved. So that is purchased, been ordered, I should say.
Without going to the chief, did he say why it went up $30,000?
Actually, no, he didn't, other than he'd been waiting for it. I don't remember what year he initially put in for it.
Okay. We could ask the chief that one.
I do have, I didn't print the quote, yes, that I do have it on my computer, but I never continued to bring it.
So, if I can stop you there for a second. Any of the items that were approved by ARPA funds, have they already been done?
There is, on your list,
I
you can
see approved,
you see approved,
Spent
and you also
today.
see, wait to the, spent today, correct?
yeah.
Obviously, the top one, the broadband, is a work in progress. We get a monthly bill on that. We're actually meeting with Spectrum. Next week, we have a Zoom with Spectrum because there's some discrepancies in the agreement was signed initially, because it looks like, according to the bills we received from them, their billing process will be about $50,000 more than what the agreement was signed for. But so that's something that we've asked their special account managers to come in and straighten out.
Okay. I mean, can we stop you a second?
Okay.
Is anybody here want to go into the real this was not our purview. I think we're trying to figure out, I'm asking you basics because this 1 million really is what's left over from what's already been spent.
If
or
you
will be-
look
or available.
to the left, Harry, the actual funds that, in yellow, funds not allocated to project, what we have remaining as a balance is 987,000.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. I mean, we had no purview of the other stuff, so I don't want to get into it.
Well, no, actually, some of this is because a couple of these items are things that we've talked about, and I'm just looking real quick. The replacing the windows and siding at the library and senior
Yeah.
centers, that's something we've been talking about. The evaluate repairs needed, and this was a big one, to stop the water infiltration at the public safety building.
Yep,
Right.
And then the wood house, because we talked about this one last week, the wood house building repairs. So that's good that those items are on here, because those are things.
And the
that-
breathing compressor, too.
Right.
That's
Yeah, we
another
knew about
one.
that one.
now, did we know these were going to be funded by ARPA? I don't think we did.
We
No,
never-
no, that's why we wanted to meet with
Right.
Garrett, to find out where they all fell before we started talking about what's, bond packages and free cash and everything else, so. Gary, on the infiltration of the public safety building, so that's an evaluation and that's 20 grand. Obviously, that's gonna lead to, this was a huge concern because there's a lot of damage going on based on what we were told and seen.
Right.
So, but if I remember the report right, that's a pretty hefty price tag as far as an estimate of the actual repairs. Is it the intent that some of that 987 would go towards the ultimate repairs that are
It may
found through
have
the
to,
study?
once we evaluate to see
Yeah.
exactly what,
Okay.
there's only ideas and assumptions of where the leak is coming from. So
Mhm.
that's why we're getting time bond in there to evaluate.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to talk long-term about a lot of the things in the facilities report. And that was one small item in the facilities report,
And so the Woodhouse repairs facilities report findings at 62.5.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, because one of the things we had recommended in May was the second half of the roof repair. Is this beside the roof repair? This is like all the masonry work and everything else?
Masonry, you got some structural damage. I went and did look at that building. Actually, I'm sure you know we had an insurance situation where an employee actually got hurt that we did have that repaired. That was about $8,900, and that was getting into the attic railing, drop down, pull down ladder, and so on and so forth. I don't have an exact cost of what it's gonna be, but that money obviously is allocated for that. And there's another. I thought there was another. There's an additional amount of money. It may have been. I think it was for an article, Joe, for repairs that we can also tap into. I think it was. I thought it was 30,000. I'd have to research that, but that's an estimate. That's just simply an estimate. We don't know if it's going to go any further than that.
Okay.
You can see if you look way over to the right where some of these things are actually closed out. These were. There will be money that floats back into the ARPA account due to better pricing. So we don't know how much until it's all done, but I have to make sure that these all are. I mean, the broadband actually no, definitely. But if you look at the Lex with $8,500 and $28,000 left, so hopefully we can filter that money back into the checkbook, if you will.
Okay.
Does that go back into ARPA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, things not used for a specific item goes back into the balance, then can be reallocated.
I don't know if you or Joe should answer this question. but.
Well, let's
I-
say for the sake of argument, it should be Joe. Joe
Okay.
Becker?
Yeah. No. Identify second water source using hydrogeological analysis and groundwater modeling. I thought that was already built into tie-in bonds, or tie-in bonds, water surface, water stuff that they were doing for us for the sewer. Is this something different? Is this on top? So that's what I'm saying. Maybe I should
Yeah,
ask Joe
this is
on
something
that.
different, and we actually have RCAP coming in for a meeting with Mr. Buckley and myself. I don't know if you know, but they offer free services as to guide us through what steps have to be taken. And certainly, all you gentlemen know how
Yeah.
long we've been looking for a second water source.
Right. And what is you use the acronym, what does it stand for, Joe? You said ARP?
RCAP. It's,
RCAP.
It's good. You know what? I knew that because it doesn't stand for what the letters are, but I you know what? I
Well,
know
just
that
so the
something.
viewers, so we know what it,
Yeah, I'll send it to you in an email. I have it.
okay. But it has to
So
do
Mr.
with.
James Stybert, it's very pleasant to talk to. It is a free service, so.
Okay. And it has to do with finding another water source for the
Correct.
town of Rutland.
That's correct.
Okay.
Wasn't Ty and Bond doing the infiltration study?
Ty and bond was over for I&I. You mean
Yeah.
I&I? Yeah, that's a separate item. That's sewer.
Right.
Okay.
Is it
I
that them or
understand.
Weston and Sampson that's going with
Weston and Sampson was out with national cleaning and repairing, but Ty and bond has been doing some investigative work.
Oh,
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
And I noticed down, some of the other things we had recommended are down for future discussion by ARPA committee. The, recommended by CIPC, infrastructure, DPW equipment, the 5-ton dump.
Yes.
Yeah, those were on our list from the spring as
They
somewhat
were, and I've
priority
been talking to
items.
Mr. Buckley
Yeah.
about the equipment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but certainly Joe knows. We've had very good luck with finding used equipment.
Yeah, you know, we're familiar with that. We've,
Very, yeah. I bought two when I was here in DPW for $40,000 back then, two, and they're still running and running strong.
Yep.
And they bought an additional one since, so they do have
And they want another.
estimate.
And
So,
yeah, we're in favor of that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I knew
in
that.
terms of
Right.
rates,
So
it
that-
rates high, when we
Yeah.
use the state rating system, it comes out fairly high.
Right.
Say those
So-
are 50 each?
That was 50, and that's used, but we're
Yeah.
talking a big rig.
Right, no, it's a
Yeah.
good price.
Yeah. And we've gone over and we've looked at his equipment and gone through the garage with him and seen what he's getting for the money and what he wants.
Mhm.
On this item here, the SCBA breathing air compressor, I know it's coming end of its life. It's allocated 95. It was approved by the Board of Selectmen, so is that on the list to be purchased? Or
Yeah,
should
that's
we
right.
ask Seth?
It's already ordered.
Oh, it's already ordered?
That's the one we had the
Yeah.
65 price tag on.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right, then it went up 10,000 from the first time you put it in, and then it went up an additional 20.
okay,
Wow. Yeah.
all right.
That came out our highest rated item
Yeah.
right for purchase.
And down here at the bottom, you bring up something good, Mike, the ARPA committee. Woodhouse structural repairs. Is this from us, is this in addition to the Woodhouse building repairs facilities report? Is that something totally different, or is that what we recommended up here?
62.5 and a 35 were actually two separate items. And the price that was given was 62.5, and that's what we had approved by the Board of Selectmen, and, well, obviously the ARPA committee first, and then the Board of Selectmen for 62.5.
Right, but there's, and again, I know this was quite quick, and I appreciate you coming in on such short notice, but
Don't let
the
that happen.
CIPC, there's no dollar value, infrastructure town buildings. So that future item that we wanted repaired, is that the 62.5 that is up here, so that can be crossed off our list?
You've got the second, what's the total of those two, Joe? Second half of Woodhouse roof repair, 27.5.
yeah, so it's about
and-
57.
So, and the 35,000, so that's 62.5. So that's a total of the two.
Because I see a total bill here for
Of
62.5. So that's what I'm saying. This for discussion really isn't a discussion item anymore,
Right,
because
correct.
it's already been approved.
It's been approved for that.
That's
those two.
for those two items.
Right, that goes to
Okay.
And is there more structural repair? in addition to those 2 items. that they need.
Unfortunately, we don't really know that till.
Well, that's what I thought when I saw that down there, there might have been more that
Yeah,
we didn't
you
know
had the
about.
roof, you had the roof
Yeah.
repair, there was definitely structural repair to that building, so these 2 items.
So the only thing, I mean, just for when the ARPA committee gets together again, unless it's something I'm not aware of, but down here it says under future discussion items, the wood house roof repairs, that should be part of that 62.5 number that's already noted up above.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't need to be talked, unless there's something else that I don't know.
Right, and the same
Yeah.
thing, the woodhouse roof repairs on the bottom.
That's what I'm
That's what
talking
I'm
about,
talking
Harry.
about. Yeah.
That one should be cared for within that 62.5 total.
And the structural repairs.
Those two combined, is
Right,
62.5.
right. So, okay, so we don't need to really review that.
Yeah,
Okay. Good.
assuming they're the same issues.
Right. And I suppose, so, are you pretty well up to speed on what the ARPA stuff is, or should you think we should meet with the ARPA committee to, again, ask them any questions we may have?
Well, I think we're going along pretty good so far.
Okay.
If your question, if there's something I can answer, I can certainly bring the committee in.
No, I just don't want to waste their time and my time.
It's not a
If
waste
you
of
can
time,
answer all, no.
I'll try, it's not a
If
waste
you-
of time though.
Okay, all right. Handicap accessible restroom community center, I didn't see that up here, so that's still under discussion.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting situation. I don't know if you've heard, but we did have a car accident down there.
No,
Somebody broke through the building. So
Oh, I didn't
actually,
know
that restroom, that's what it hit. So that restroom, we're getting prices now to go in and fix that through insurance.
okay,
We have the 3 firms that are also, obviously it's community-based work, it's prevailing wage, so we do have three the firms giving us a price for that, keeping separate the windows and the siding. We're
so,
waiting for the prices on that.
so that'll be paid by the insurance and not the ARPA funds,
Yeah, hopefully they'll cover it all, because they went
Okay.
right through the wall.
all right. So, if there's anything left over and it's under 10,000, it really doesn't come under our purview.
Right,
then.
correct.
For that. So, okay, we have a question mark on that one. Insurance, okay. We talked about that. I don't know as many grant awards as our issue. I'm not sure what that is.
I'm not sure what that is either, Harry, but there has been discussion of trying to put some of the ARPA funds back into the businesses of the town, because
Okay.
of what we went through, but there's certainly no number of businesses, no dollar amount affixed to that.
Okay. Okay. Everything else kind of makes sense. Energy
So
costs.
let me ask, it's probably outside of our scope, so if we want to skip over the question, I can, but I'll ask it anyway. Isn't there separate ARPA funding available for businesses to apply on their own?
Yes, and they did receive some. So,
Okay.
but other communities, a lot of communities that are actually starting to filter this money probably for, public perception, just well-being. So that's why I think it's still being talked about, but nothing's been committed. Because
Okay.
they were offered the same luxury, if that's what you want to call it, as everyone.
Right, that's
So,
right.
Contract service with public health nurse and support staff. Is that a new position?
they had they had a nurse on duty due to COVID, vaccination, and so on and so forth. So
Okay.
they did not, as far as I know, have one before.
Oh, okay, so 50,000 makes it full-time, not part-time,
No, correct, but it's only going to be a part-time position. I think it was for a 2-year period.
2-year period, okay. And again, I look like, pardon me of my ignorance, but Palmagussit water line extension, normally that would come out of water.
Water
sewer.
enterprise.
Right, and yet we have it allocated to infrastructure. I mean, into ARPA funds.
Yeah, that was a pretty hefty project, and that was replacing, obviously, down past the ball field. I mean, you must have seen it all dug up that they did. Yeah.
I think we had that listed last year, didn't we? We knew about that.
Yeah, but I didn't know if it was gonna be ARPA funds.
Oh, I was under the impression it was all along.
I think we talked about it.
I mean, personally, I have no problem with that if it can keep the water and sewer rates down
No.
for the community. Okay.
Nothing's gonna keep the water sewer rates down, Harry. Sorry.
Get along.
What we're trying to do is, I'm sure you've all heard of the lawsuit. I'm sure you remember that, Joe, from 2000.
Yeah, I was going to ask you offline where we stood with that because we were fighting the same battle. Were we part of the
They asked us to join that, remember? And the board decided unanimously not to join in on that lawsuit. That was in 2009 when I brought it to executive session. Because at that time, obviously, it was
wasn't-
just in the makings.
Yeah, I wasn't there, so I don't remember that.
You weren't?
2009.
Yeah. No, yeah. When I was here, when I first got here. I got here in the end of 08.
I thought we were litigating that.
We did know the board voted not to jump in on that bandwagon, but we are in touch with legal now
Yeah.
to see if we can, because we know there's obviously discrepancies, to see what we can, if we can reap of any of that benefit.
Against?
That was a good win.
City of Worcester,
Okay.
Yeah, Holden got a good win on that.
Yeah.
14.5.
Wow.
So, and it was all to do, we've talked about it many times. You remember,
Oh,
Joe,
yeah, we
the pump
met.
station, down on the border.
Yep, and we went to, I remember meeting in West Boylston many a times with DCR over that whole
Yeah,
mess.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's in the works. That's a work in progress. We are seeing, carefully, slowly, taking the steps to see what our involvement can be at this point.
So if we get money, is there any indication where the money's gonna go to? Is it gonna go back into water and sewer, or is it gonna go to general town?
Well, because it's a water, sewer related, it would go back into the enterprises.
Okay. Again, just thinking about the town cost of the water and so forth today, if we get a.
Right, but it's still, that's for the users,
Right,
so.
right. Okay. Thank you, Joe. It was pretty explanatory on that. Any other questions on ARPA fund uses for our town manager, our town, sorry?
No, I'm glad to see some of
Administrator.
the things we were pushing for included in there. We didn't know they were gonna be, We're kind of curious why some of our top choices, based on the rating system we use, weren't considered, but that's why.
Understandable, and that's certainly understandable. And I did find that, or learn that early on, exactly once Harry sent me the list. And of course, I came to Down and Bang, here we are at town meeting.
Yeah.
So it was just my fault for not really being familiar with
It's a good thing,
everything.
it's a
but
good thing.
My concern is there's only 987,000 left. And, where's that gonna go? And we only have, it's gotta be allocated by, or committed by the end of December 23, and the money has to be spent by the end of 24.
Well, that's 20 million roughly in the infrastructure study. That barely puts it in.
Yeah.
And then we had all that discussion about town parking lots and drainage issues in
Exactly.
them with Ron San Angelo.
Yep.
He had us looking into that.
So it has to be committed by
December
this year.
of 23.
Oh, 23, okay.
Okay,
So that gives you plenty of time
right.
to work on that.
No,
And then
you'd think, but it goes by quick. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
that's, to me, that's not a big dollar amount. I mean, we all know
No.
that we could spend that rather quickly.
That's not that big.
I mean, as far as what we do and what we recommend, I guess that's our concern, is how much of that would go towards. Okay. And that's our job, okay.
Yep.
Committed.
No, but it's good. Some of our concerns were addressed with that.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Any questions from members on, no?
there's no feeling where you think this money might be going, or priorities that you're aware of?
There aren't right now. I mean, we all know that some of our town buildings, such as, the Wood House, the Wood Studio, needs some repair work.
The studios.
We had to just put a boiler into community center.
Community
So
center, that thing had been failing forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I wouldn't know if it would, brought before the committee to do, like the siding and the windows, the community center, and using ARPA funds. We have talked about, obviously we need additional storage. So we're talking with recreation. So we want to convert part of basement of town hall into storage for them. They should be centrally located.
Mm-hmm.
I have mentioned even to Kerry about the back room here to see if that can be used for any kind of storage other than the way things are piled up in there. My goal would be, don't have enough in ARPA, I don't believe, boy, would I like to turn that town hall into a completely usable building.
Absolutely.
Well, that's part of the facility study, that's all in there, and it's,
I think Joe remembers way back when, I got a
Yeah.
price for $250,000 to put the elevator in, we needed. DPW back then put a lot of repairs into that attic, and it's really a nice room.
It
You know,
is.
it's not leaking anymore, the floor has all been leveled out.
It has.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta go and see it, I have not seen it
Oh,
since then.
it's full of old PCs, it's full of garbage.
Right, I know that, but when I was there, the wood was all.
Right in the middle, remember? Right in the
Yeah,
middle, but that's
absolutely.
all settled.
Yeah, okay.
Nice room, it's a nice room.
Nice little stage up there.
Yeah.
Nice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion to be brought up at the next ARPA meeting? Because I just noticed, Gary, we talked about the public safety, and that 20 grand allocated is to evaluate the repairs needed. And I just noticed that the same is true for the windows and the siding at the library and senior center. That's just a scope of work. That's not to actually purchase windows.
That's correct.
Right, so my concern is, number one, I think 30 grand for a scope of work for windows and siding is a little excessive, but that's
I do
beside the
too,
point.
no, I agree there.
My worry is if we invest 30 grand for that, to come up with a scope of work, and then we invest another 20 grand to figure out what's needed for the infiltration, and we spend the 987 somewhere else, then we've just dumped 50 grand into a study that resulted in nothing.
Right.
So my suggestion would be, we have a cost estimate for the windows and the siding at the senior center and the library that comes to like 180 grand. We have a cost estimate that comes to like 2.25 for the infiltration work at public safety. I would just suggest that perhaps we allocate that amount from the 987 so that it's there when the scope of work is done, so we can actually do the work and not just shelve it.
that makes sense.
Understood, and good point. I am completely against, so you know, $30,000, any kind of feasibility study to tell me the scope of work for
What
siding
window?
windows. We know what it needs. We don't have to have an engineer come in and tell us. I talked to Mr. Buckley about that, and I even met a contractor up there. This is what we want. I want samples. I want facsimile windows, same siding. I want the lifetime, if you will. Generally, it's a 50-year. I want to have a good mill. I want nice stuff.
Yeah.
For the water leak, that's an excellent idea, because we don't know really where it's coming from.
Right.
So-
and you hate to waste 20 grand on a study they
Absolutely.
can't do anything with. So
Absolutely.
just a thought to
Oh,
share with the
I
committee.
agree with you. I agree with you.
No, I agree, Joe. I think that's a
Yep.
very smart question and something that we should look into. I don't even know, because we're here, we see things differently, so I don't even know if they thought about considering that at this point. Because we're looking at capital infrastructure stuff compared to what they're doing, overall spending the money. So it's a good
Where'd you get those
question.
amounts, Joe, that you read?
They're in that facilities report.
Oh, okay.
That's where the numbers are.
Can
So
you
they're,
give me those amounts again, please?
yeah, the community center windows and siding combined was 180.
180?
They had the windows at 80 and the siding at 100. And that's just community, that's not even the library. So the library's another number that's probably buried in that report somewhere. And then they
You
had,
got a price for that? I mean, just off the record, for, I want to say 52,000 complete. And you're saying 180?
that's what that report had.
Okay.
Yeah, so it might be high, but whatever the number is,
Okay,
it should be
alright.
set
Right.
aside. And then for the public safety building, the total number was 235, and that included a design, engineering and design amount of 22.
Okay. Included the 22.
Yeah, the 22 was included in the total of 235.
Okay.
So if we're already have the money for an engineering design, why are we doing the study?
We don't. They,
No, we
they
don't.
have
It's
it.
there.
They have it allocated here
Oh.
for ARPA. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So basically, you need another 205 according to that study, which may be
Okay.
high, maybe low, who knows, but it's something to go on.
Okay.
Any other questions on ARPA? Okay. Appreciate it.
This is
Gary.
good.
Oh, no
It's
problem.
good to have this.
Thank you, very good to have you here. Yep. Okay. ARPA funds. Bond package, I know Becky's not here. But are you privy to anything? Are you aware of anything that's going on in the bond package from your end?
I'm not.
Okay.
Are you familiar with what the conversation was in the spring as far as a bond package?
No.
Okay, so Ron, it was shortly before he left. He was kind of putting the fast track on a bond package, eyeing what was defined as critical items within that facilities report. And some of the critical items were basically exterior envelope issues with buildings and pavement issues and things like that. And what the thought was, what his thought was to come up with some of the more urgent needs, like the public safety building was one of them, for example. Figure out a cost estimate for all of those needs and come up with a bond package. That morphed into a conversation about, okay, how much debt is falling off in coming time that we could back into to come up with a bond package that would basically help the facilities need, but at the same time keep the debt level. So when some debt falls off, some debt excluded debt falls off the books, coming in right behind it is new debt to take its place to keep the tax rate level, yet still accomplish some things.
Right.
And that's it's really too bad that something come up for Becky, because we've had discussions about that, and according to Becky, now's the time.
Now is,
Now's the time. So,
One of the things that we had talked about, like, we kind of backed off of it. I don't think we were ever really 100% on board on pushing a bond package this past May, because it just wasn't enough time between when the idea was introduced and when town meeting and annual meeting happened and all that. But one of the things we were looking at is there's about $1.4 million worth of parking lot work and drainage work having to do with buildings that was identified in that study. And that number happened to coincide with the amount of debt that's falling off between now and FY24. And so we were thinking about a bond package kind of for that type of need, for the paving and drainage needs that coincided with the amount dropping off. But the reason we wanted to get this is because we didn't know if any of those paving things were being done within ARPA.
I
It
see.
doesn't look like it is. So now we're back to the conversation of how do we fund
Joe
it.
Buckley had given us some reasonable numbers on paving of a lot of the town school lots and whatnot. And of course, behind the town hall,
Yeah.
the drainage there,
Right.
we think is impacting the pool and other things, or the
We've
lack
been talking
of.
about that parking lot for
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just paving, it's also drainage
Drainage.
issues.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Right.
But in a couple of places, I think someplace else, he thought there was drainage work needed in addition to the paving.
I think it was here.
Right at the library?
I think it was.
Well, they took care of that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, the side there,
Okay.
was my understanding, that was taken care of. If you go out, you can see, maybe it wasn't, but my understanding was
Okay.
it was. On the side here, when the rain came down,
On the door, the side door?
no, on the side of the building, over here. That side has the flowers and all that stuff. The drainage, the water would run down and pool and get up, so it wasn't draining properly.
Okay. Because we had a problem at the door, I don't know how many years, 5, 6 years ago now, remember, because the water was just dropping right down and it buckled the concrete. So we
Oh.
put a drain in for that, but
Oh.
that was 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought you were referring to when you said side.
No, that was a
Okay,
different system.
So that's what we wanted to talk through with you and Becky, was what the opportunity, what the best timing would be to do a bond package. Because the other thing is while some debt, well, we can look at the debt schedule, some debt drops off in like 24, but then a larger amount drops off in 2026. So do you want to time things? Do you want to do 2 new debt exclusions to tier it with when the debt's falling off, or do you want to wait until 2026 and do it all at once, because it's so hard trying to pass a debt exclusion?
And the other thing, in another 2 years, we're gonna need a new fire truck,
I saw that
okay?
on the capital list.
So again, if you're gonna do a bond package and you want to include it, that might be the time to do it too, to Jones 2026.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm being overly optimistic, but Seth had his hopes of
Grant.
a grant for that, once the truck reached a certain age.
Yeah, I hope he gets it.
He seemed to think he'd then be on the list to get a grant. That's no guarantee, obviously,
But
but
that would be wonderful.
yeah,
Right,
But
but,
that's 1.4, 1.5?
yeah,
it's going up. It was 1.1.
yeah. Yeah, and again, I think at that point, the truck, basically, a lot of the stuff on it is gonna be out of code. So it's not that it's not useful anymore,
Right,
it's just that for
right.
ambulance, that we take care of, because that's gonna be another year, 2 years, we're gonna
2
need
years, I
that.
believe, yeah.
Yeah, so that we kind of take care normally, because, you know, and that. And the thing about the ambulance is, it really pays for itself.
Right, exactly.
It does, you know, and we have great service.
Yeah, they get rid of the oldest one, right?
Yeah,
And then, yeah, just,
yeah. Okay. Any other questions on the bond package? That was very revealing, thanks. Appreciate that. And again, I'm glad you were here so we can get these things. I know this is a tough time to get, you're getting everything together and still doing that, but we appreciate your time, Gary. Really
oh,
do.
my pleasure. It's really, I think everybody knows that we're trying to get this done early. We've started the budget process already, not that we have any kind of projection for free cash or what's going on and so on and so forth. I'm actually meeting with the school, the district, next week with the other 4 town administrators, just to get a grip on things if I could, because I don't know what they have planned, contractual obligations for increases, so on and so forth, staffing. So, and I think all of the couple of other towns that I've talked to have the same concerns, obviously, as we do, so.
I wanted to get into recommendations still pending, and I can see here that we can see some of those that we had recommended that are still pending, at least for ARPA funds on that. If you meet with the ARPA committee, what's your, I won't say crystal ball, but what's your assumption of these items down here, like the used 5-ton dump truck and sander? The heating system upgrades for the public safety building? And was that included in the, or was that just the infrastructure work for the building?
No, that's infrastructure work. That's work in
Okay,
the
so this
building.
would be totally
Yep.
separate then? Okay,
I anticipate that the 5-ton dump, because that's already, it just hasn't been approved by the board yet.
okay.
It's been approved by the committee,
Oh,
so it's just a
okay.
matter, we've gotta go over that again. We have a meeting
Okay.
coming up Monday morning, I'm sorry, with the ARPA committee.
Okay, so it's been approved by committee. Committee.
So out of the 2023 request, the only one that is not under current discussion for ARPA is the service truck for the sewer.
Correct, but that would come out of enterprise anyway.
Yeah, I would, but
Yeah.
is that being talked about as far
We
as
did not
an
talk about
article? Okay.
using ARPA funds.
No, not from ARPA, but just in general, for like in fall special town meeting.
Yeah,
or-
that was on, I don't remember what year, was that on for the upcoming year, Joe, for?
We recommended it this year, so I don't know at this point, like
Yeah.
what the funding, what the talk is to fund it. That was 91,135
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, right.
Did we, the cleaning trucks, did we, nothing happened on that?
We didn't recommend them.
Okay.
Well, not this year. Did we do them in a prior year?
I thought we did the
What
prior
trucks
year.
you talking about?
Well, one was the water and sewer truck, which will come out of enterprise funds. But the other one was, remember the van we saw for the cleaning? It was in terrible shape.
Right.
We didn't recommend that last year because it got such a low rating, but I didn't know if that's something we should look at for the ARPA funds now.
Yeah, we haven't recommended those at all yet.
No. And didn't the animal control get their new,
That we recommended back for, that was in FY 2022.
okay, so that did get funded.
And that was
I don't know
that was a shared item
if
Right.
it should be, yeah.
with other communities.
Yeah. Okay.
Service van, $30,000, FY '22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on the capital improvement for the service
He
van.
put it
Well,
on.
that was on his request.
That was on his
I don't think
request.
it got recommended though.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, here it is right here. It didn't make the cut.
33, right.
Right,
I
nor
mean,
did,
couldn't use it.
so all of them didn't make the cut. You didn't get, I think you did get one plow, but you got the used truck, 50,000, the plows for 15, sales van to 30,
Yeah.
for chipper, and the facility repairs and updates.
Right.
And your big one that I was concerned about was, I think it's for FY20, actually, it should have been a long time ago, as you know, Joe, but it was for the sweeper. I saw that on
Right,
here.
that's in 23 here.
Street sweeper, 250 for 23, FY23.
250, it says we have 225 from last year's report.
Yeah, I've got 250 on this plan I have here.
Well, Ron said
Do
he.
you have all of this? I wasn't familiar with
We
this
know we
format,
do,
because
but-
we used to do it a different way.
We have this 5-year capital report,
Is
and
that
it
the-
has these item by item in it.
Okay.
So that was listed here from last year at 225 as priority
I
number
did
4.
print one of these up for everyone if you haven't
Is that the
seen
file
it.
Joe sent like yesterday? Didn't Joe Buckley send a file yesterday through
This is
email?
the one that came off of my computer that everybody had sent Ron.
He might
Yeah.
have sent a new one yesterday.
The other thing is, Ron put in fudge money on that. I think he beefed it up, what, by 20%? If I remember correctly.
He did say that about certain.
Oh, okay, all right.
Um,
Let me see if I can find what he sent.
Yeah,
in,
just
and
looking
'cause
at
it
it,
might
too.
be the same thing. I don't know. Let me see if I can get onto the connection here.
I mean,
Here it is, yeah. Came in on August 24th, Joe.
Yeah, yesterday.
From-
I saw something
From Joe Buckley?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Probably the same thing you have. Kind of a small print, but you can see it.
Yeah, that is the same thing. That's the same thing I have here.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is for all departments. Yeah, okay, now that you're showing me that one, I think I found them pretty much, or got my hands on both of them at the same time, and I wanted the whole packet.
Okay.
Oh, that's everything. That's not just DPW?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
okay.
And he has it broken down
I'll take
through
your print.
2027.
I asked
Should
you
you
if
have
you wouldn't take
extras?
it. No, I made copies for everybody.
Because I
and
thought
now
I was
all
going
of
to try to
a sudden-
save a tree, Gary. I thought I had electronically.
Yeah. Can you, I was gonna see if you've got copies, that's fine. I would have taken email.
He sent it in protected view. I couldn't launch it anyway.
Okay.
This goes up to, 5-year, but 26, goes up to 26, so from 22 to 26, 5-year capital.
Right, and I'm hopeful that this book that I've been looking at corresponds with this.
It should.
Um,
This is 22.
What,
So we're up to 1,000,004 on the ladder replacement?
Yeah, I saw that, yep.
yeah,
Okay.
that's really jumped. But,
And the new animal control officer was down here for 45,000. Was that purchased already?
Well,
I thought
you know,
it
it's-
was.
I thought it was too, honestly, now that you're bringing it up. She's still driving around the same one, but the back order, the logs for getting equipment is just terrible. If you order a heavy, running like the Joe Buckley order, a new heavy for plowing.
Yeah.
It's over a year now.
really,
I ordered one in West Boylston when I was there, and it took 9 months to get it in,
Wow.
and that was 2 years ago.
would the used dump come quicker than that?
No, the used dump you could probably go like that. You
Yeah,
can find
okay.
it, but we've started using Clark's trucks way up north in near Burlington, Vermont, for those trucks, and I had great luck with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Joe's been happy with the one we
Yeah,
got,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why he wants another.
But they're all different colors. We got green, we
Yeah,
got
well.
blue, we got yellow, black.
So what?
I know.
They're being used the most, you can't even see them anyway.
Yeah, right, there you go.
So do we want to talk at all tonight about the upcoming cycle of collecting, aside from what we know about, I mean, even though we have this, typically what we've done is we've still done the reach out to the departments, because who knows, from FY22 when this was created,
Right.
there might be changes, it might be new priorities, reaching out and
I
asking
think
for
we
those.
should, I did mention it to Gary, that if he has the ability, we should still send him out.
Mhm.
I agree.
Right. So, rather than us copying and putting in there, everything was done electronically the last 2 years, so we can do that. I'd like to get that out by another week or two, delay, so we can get it back in. What's our, no, we usually.
Are we doing it, or are we asking to do it through
No,
Gary?
I'm asking to go through Gary to do that.
Oh, you are?
I am.
That's what the previous town administrators have done for us. Will you do the
right.
same?
And is that why you?
We go all the way back, and they were really great to do.
Yeah, but you know me, Harry. I have been asking for capital needs as they come into my office. I've been actually canceled a couple of upcoming department head meetings and I'm having one-on-one. And this has been one of the questions, and that's how I got this information from. I started looking for the whole packet as opposed to just like a Mr. Buckley or Mr. Knight. Those are the two reports that I do have.
They're always the first to get stuff to us. Yeah.
I mean, the reason we send it out
And they
to all
have
departments
and-
isn't so much the big boys, the fire,
No,
you know, that stuff. It's the little committees that don't normally think about responding to us for anything that should come up, and that's kind
They're
of,
afraid of you.
huh?
They're afraid of you.
Well, maybe rightly so. I don't know.
I always have been. I've been sweating bullets all day, for God's sakes. Always enjoyed our meetings. I always, I can certainly find out what you're looking for. I mean, just when it was one department before, I certainly enjoyed coming and understanding
Yeah.
and
I
presenting.
don't know if the town your secretary did that in the past for Ron, or if he went through IT on that. I don't know how that process worked. So that's why I'm saying if it's feasible, even if you send it out to the people like Fire, already sent us stuff.
No, that's fine, okay, because it's just a message. Do you still use the same schedules? Is it A,
ABC, yeah.
Yeah, the
we-
forms. Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it
we
ABC
still-
or just A and B?
No, it's,
I don't know if I have one with me. Well, you know what I have? I probably have a PDF with some of the ones that were returned last
let me
year.
just see if I have one here.
I got a whole bunch of them up. I didn't bring them all.
Do you have blanks there, Joe? You can shoot to my email?
I can, I got them
Okay,
at
would you
the,
please?
at the barn, yeah, I got them back at the house. But if Joe has it, he can certainly do it tonight.
I don't think I have any blanks.
Okay.
Reading forms.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, please, thank you.
I don't have anything with me
You
on that,
know,
no. Usually we put a date on them when we want them back. I think normally we ask for them back, was it the end of October or September?
Probably October.
I think it was the end of October we asked for them back, yeah.
I
We normally have to do our research, talk to the departments, compile our list, and write up the recommendations for like February, March.
Okay.
That's kind of our deadline date.
Okay.
Cost estimates. Yeah, we actually have quotes on some of those paving parking lots and everything from Joe. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Leahy excavating.
Would we want to
Well, I
maybe
should be
suggest
allowed.
an October
Huh?
1st
I think I
deadline?
set that.
Hey, yeah,
Thinking that
He
there's going to be
sent
some
me one
stragglers.
for the
Oh, did he?
ladder truck, so
In
I-
in the past, we sometimes have
Yeah.
sent them out till
Like September
October,
30th.
and then we're
Yeah.
I didn't
struggling.
get one, but I'll try to
I think
get
that's a
that.
good idea.
There's one blank is for capital equipment, the other one is for leasing
And rental.
and rental.
Correct.
And we were just talking, Harry, I don't know if you heard it, but it's maybe we want to strive this year for October 1. Seems like sometimes, there's always stragglers, like Dan was saying.
Yeah,
And we probably want to start a little earlier this year.
Sometimes the one comes in late, and then we still want to talk to the department about it, and then we can't get that in until
Right.
November.
Whether it's
if we do it electronically,
Library,
we got
community
time to get it
centers.
out by September 1st to give them 30 days. Now, I don't know why they need 30 days, but that was in the book that I started with when we started doing
Okay,
this.
no, if we're gonna shoot for that date, then
Okay.
yeah, just do it quick.
Okay.
That'd be a
Yeah,
good
okay.
turnaround.
And the big
Thanks.
thing would be especially new items. Like I said, we've been given sheets like you've had that list out 5 years, but on any given year, you never know what you're gonna get hit with that wasn't in there.
Right, and obviously most items aren't approved, so that brings the next year, the next cycle up higher, and things get pushed
Yep.
back, so, yeah, exactly, right.
And we use our rating sheets here.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things we have never really included, maybe we'll change this year, is effectiveness of town administrator. We just might put that in again. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Can you go negative?
Killing me.
Welcome back, Eddie. Welcome back.
Such a warm reception.
Okay, so that kind of lays out our, here it is. Yeah. Here it is. That kind of lays out our recommendations still pending. Is there anything else that you can think of that might be pending to ask Gary that he might know from what? And then the request process, we're down to that one we have.
The request process, yeah, gotta get blank forms.
Yeah, I'll send him.
I don't think.
I have them on email, I have them.
I'm sure the departments have them. I know I always had a stack of them down here in the old days when we just had to take photocopies.
I mean, realistically, we send them out, luckily, if we get basic 5 or 6 departments, committees back. We don't get a lot, we don't get everybody sending it back to us.
Has it always gone out from you, Harry, or has it gone out from the TA?
No, it started with me, or
Okay.
with the committee.
I thought so, okay.
That we did paper copies and stuck them in their boxes.
Okay.
Okay. And then it was Michael, I believe, or
Margaret started.
who recommended that
It all goes
because
through her.
she's talking to everybody, she'll send it out and remind them that
Okay.
she's at the
And
stuff.
collect
the way to
it
go.
and
And
do
then-
the
That's the way to go.
upfront vet.
Okay.
Right.
You know, to make sure, because, we used to run into issues where, it doesn't have all the backup information, there's not good quotes, there's not this, that. So the whole purpose with Margaret offering to do it is she vetted it, Mike vetted it, hopefully you'll vet it, and that way,
Ron
all
did,
the
yeah.
answers are there when we.
Okay.
You,
All right.
you know,
Understood. Okay.
some people like Joe and Seth, they have their quotes attached and their invoice, and everything is there, and it's all,
Yeah.
just the cost.
Okay. No.
We know, and
Okay.
others that will come from other divisions, there's a request, but there's nothing backing it up,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, most of the big ticket items from Seth, from Joe, from police are all pretty much state contracted. Prices are very
Right.
readily available to
Right.
grab.
And they have all the paperwork to back up what they're buying and the inclusions and the extras and,
Right.
and some of the other smaller divisions don't know where to find quotes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Anything else on the request process?
That'll be great.
No, good, okay. Any idea of expected free cash?
I've talked to Becky about that. She's into June now, so she's certainly trying to get that number, so she can't even begin to project.
Okay, I just thought maybe there was like a
Sure.
ballpark, 5 million, 4 million,
Yeah,
something.
I talked with her today, because, again, I don't know if she could have given you additional information, but we've been working together pretty closely for the past week or so to try to come up with some numbers, but.
So there's more than a year to commit those ARPA funds. So if we put together our recommendations based on what we get back, maybe some come out of free cash, and who knows what might also go there.
Okay. At the July 1, I believe there was only not even $60,000 in free cash.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Because we used 110 last year to balance the budget.
It was at least that. I think.
Additional 110 plus, so.
Yeah.
so I'm to read between the lines then, and what you're saying is that ARPA funds are available, but you need to get your requests in pretty soon so that you can kind of get an idea. Okay.
Yeah.
How far those funds will go,
Right.
Yeah.
assuming some other emergency doesn't crop up.
Right.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I don't want to, certainly the select board know how it puzzles, because I'm worried about that amount.
Yeah.
That could go like that.
Yeah,
And then you have nothing.
I'm sure. And
Well, the previous amount went like that too, so.
we've been up,
You needed all that stuff.
Right.
we've been up against that very little funding before. And,
Yeah, oh, yeah, yes, we have.
we prioritize the capital items and hope some of them squeeze in.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you have if you probably don't have prices on the capital items you're looking for, but if I can get those prices in, I can certainly bring it to the committee.
Right.
Then the next step is, once the committee votes and approves, if they do, then I bring it to the board of selectmen for their approval.
Right. And I'm assuming we're gonna see some requests for items that are in the 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's what we would assume.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, my fear is that there were some of those big ticket items and your 987's gone, like the fire truck.
the
Right.
fire truck, yeah.
Right.
But a grant would, wow, what a godsend that would be.
Well, Seth was hopeful, and he's talked to us a couple of times. And originally, he thought he was qualified a couple of years ago. And then he was informed that the truck's not old enough yet
Okay.
to qualify.
Right, so that's why in 2 years
Yep.
it's,
Yeah.
And I think it might be next year that it actually would qualify if the standards are still what they were then.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. For the whole amount?
He could tell you.
I don't know if it's for the whole
Percentage
amount.
of.
It
Yeah,
was,
I-
I want to say 95%.
It was a small
95%.
match.
Yeah.
95% is exactly what he
Wow.
said. We would have been coming up with a little over 50 grand, which is a no-brainer.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you gentlemen have information about what they plan to reap from Harbor Homes. That 1.6, I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but there's supposed to be a 1.6 profit after, when all is said and done. I just don't know where it's gonna go.
Well,
Is
my
that-
understanding is it's gonna go to the Rutland Heights Committee.
Not what I have not really talked to the, whichever it is, HPDE.
Yeah, whatever the
whichever
acronym is
one's taking
today,
care of
yeah.
it. So, my understanding was, and I wouldn't go to church with it, is that it's going to the town,
General funds, yeah.
general fund.
Okay,
And I was actually reminded of that today.
okay. Good to know, okay.
That had been my hope. And
What was it gonna be, about 1.5?
Well, I thought it was 1.6 coming, and that's just the rough figure that I was given.
And that's,
We expect that closing to come in at the end of September, so in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we should be closing on that.
yeah, the
Okay.
last we heard was that we wouldn't know till the fall.
and that 1.6 is net net? That's it, we're getting the
That's it.
1.6, nothing
1.6.
deducted off of that.
Right, right. That's what I'm told.
How do we make out on the tip for them? Anything there? I understand that was a sticky issue.
With,
Tax incentive for Harbor Homes.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know. Sorry.
Well, if it's going through, they must
Yeah.
have liked the deal they're getting.
Yeah, okay. All right. Do you know any idea if it's gonna close, when they expect to start construction?
They are ready, what I'm told, as soon as they close, they'll be ready to put a shovel in the ground.
Really?
So,
Okay.
it's been a long time coming, so.
It'll be nice.
I haven't been to their meetings, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing on the street, if you will.
Yeah.
How much of the land is this?
There's,
It's
what,
not all of
there's 89 acres up there, what are they taking?
Oh,
I was gonna say 37,
I
40
think it was
somewhere.
Yeah.
roughly a
37.
little less than half, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I-
I thought it was around
Is
40.
it the frontage on Maple and that area?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, the top is all rock, so
yeah.
not much there.
Oh, the old dump
Yeah.
is up top, yep.
Right. So the reason I ask
Yeah,
is
that's
that it's nice if the town, if they start soon, that the citizens of the town can start to see the rewards of sitting on this thing and working on this thing for God knows how long.
Years.
Years.
Decades.
I was sitting on the committee when we got it passed through the House to turn it over to us, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I had to do a walkthrough. I don't know if you were there with Patrick, the ball Patrick. I had to do a
That was it.
walkthrough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
Long time coming. Okay. All right.
All that time you put on that committee?
Huh?
All that time you put in on that committee?
Yeah. Long time.
And now Mike Sullivan gets half that profit.
Yeah.
Remember, I was an intern in DC
Yeah.
in, I think it was 96,
Yeah.
when I was working in our congressman's office at the time, and that's when the original bond for the cleanup was passed.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
When did they
96.
close the facility?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It was,
Had to be 20, 25 years ago,
it was more than that.
was it?
Was it more than that? Yeah.
Because I
think so.
remember I belonged to a Christmas carol group, and we sang our last Christmas carols up
Oh,
there
really?
that year at the, because they still had people in the facility.
I'd say, Harry, you're looking at early 90s.
Okay,
anyway.
so it had to be somewhere in the 90s
Okay,
that this was close.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, I was in there, I was dating a girl who lived in there,
Yeah.
but that was late 80s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say early 90s, but I wouldn't swear to it.
Not to digress, but that theater, they had done the thing completely over. They spent over $1 million redoing the theater. It was gorgeous. We ran 2 shows there from the theater group. And then they demolished the damn. They set it up for demolishment.
Oh,
I remember going to Cub Scout meetings in that
Oh.
theater.
Did you? Yeah. I'll tell you, the money we spend to do stupid things is amazing. Okay.
broke my heart to knock down the primary building.
Yeah.
After all that work and all those supplies were in, it broke my heart. I could have used that building.
Yeah, I know. Any other old business? I just have one item under new business is that, are you aware of any, we know most of the stuff that's coming off the books, but are you aware of anything that's coming off big time, off the books for loans?
Well, that's why I was hoping, it was all great, because
Oh,
Becky
okay.
really has a
So
good
that's
report.
something we'll deal with
That's
Becky
something
on.
to talk to Becky about, because
Okay.
obviously that's her cup of tea, if you will.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
But alls I got, like I mentioned when I first come in, Becky says, if we're gonna do that, if we're gonna borrow, now's the time.
Yeah, because we've been seeing a pattern where the debt has been going down, and then we knew it dropped off when the school was done,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
Do we have another meeting? Didn't we schedule another one
Yeah,
after
we
this? Maybe we give that date to Becky, because I mean, we
Yeah.
have the answers, but it's good to talk with her about timing of a bond package
Hold on.
for the amount that's falling off now
Yeah,
versus the next.
We're,
that's
Our
gonna-
next date's
September 14th,
Yeah,
a Wednesday.
September 14th, yep.
So,
And I
yeah,
have to, and we're gonna have it here, I just gotta turn it into,
Karen?
We usually do Thursdays.
I gotta
but
turn
know
the library.
Put that one Wednesday.
I think it was because of me.
it was
Okay, well, I
Wednesday,
don't
yeah.
really care, I can do Wednesday.
September 14th, yeah. 6:30. Okay.
You mean 6:30, Harry, or 6:35? 6:37.
I forgot to ask you for one more thing, that I need you to think for me. Little library, okay, and Becky, invite Becky.
Becky would be awful nervous and start turning all shades of purple if she's here at 6:30 and you're not.
Well, he's the vice chair, he can take over on that.
Well, he kept looking and said, where the hell's Harry? Where the hell's Harry?
Invite Becky. Okay,
Okay.
all right, so I have no other new business, Gary, unless you have something you want to say, or you're free to.
What I'd like to say is I'd really like to stay involved and informed with what you need. So if you think of questions that come up, if you give me some time to do some research, and I'm certainly, I mean, there's I've only got 4 months under my belt in this position, so
Yeah.
certainly go to the right people to get the information I can get for you.
Okay.
I don't like coming and saying, I don't know, let me check. I don't
No,
like
that's
saying
why
that,
we
so, but,
reached out to you ahead of time to get you.
well, ahead of time, yesterday.
No, it wasn't yesterday.
Yes, it was.
It was not
You
yesterday.
called me yesterday. We're gonna have a meeting Thursday. Can you come?
I called you on Monday for crying out loud. Don't give me
okay.
that. So
It
I
was
gave
3
you
days. What are you
So I
complaining
gave you
about?
3 days. What are you complaining?
We only have 2 questions for you. Yeah, okay.
It was ARPA and debt.
And that's it.
Yeah, but you,
Simple
yeah,
things.
you want to know about free cash too.
All right. Again, Gary, we appreciate you being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, got a lot done today.
Yeah, well, answer questions, definitely.
No other new business? No other old business?
I'll make a motion
Do
to
it.
adjourn.
Thank you.
Motion?
Holy mackerel.
I'll
Second.
second that.
This whole
Mike
meeting was
seconds?
for me.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good.
What time is it?
7:41.
7:41.